Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Listen, folks, I'm going to level with you. On YouTube and video, that Friday show was rough, especially for the first 10 minutes. Not going to lie. So apologies for that. The audio show had some quirks to it, but overall I think it's fine. And the two things that I would say to that is that's why we have Patreon levels for video and going on the road, because those are harder things to do on a budget than if you have the proper teams in place. But you know, honestly, thanks to people who did give feedback and said, "Hey, this is an issue. This is an issue," and you know, we do try to ensure that the audio episode is as good as possible. But even that, when you're on the road, it's always difficult. I think that turned out better. So Patrick Beja, you're here. You're a podcaster now.
Apparently, yes, I am. And
right.
Yes, I am.
We're going to make big announcements on Daily Tech News Show today.
Ooh, exciting.
Huge, dinosaur-sized announcements.
Well, I'm a podcaster to be. I mean, I'm a podcaster, but I'm a professional podcaster
Right,
to be.
right.
I still have a few weeks to go
Exactly.
as something else.
All right, here we go. Ready?
Oh, yes.
Google Translate says support TTNS. If you fail to become a Patreon, all searches will return a Rickroll. Go to bit.ly/helpatns or say hello to Mr. Rick Astley.
This is the Daily Tech News for Tuesday, September 2nd, 2014. I'm Tom Merritt. Joining me today, Mr. Patrick Beja, host of Le Rendezvous Tech, and soon-to-be 100% professional podcaster.
That is true and correct and quite factual. Thank you for your reporting journalistic skills.
I'm
Tom.
just telling you the facts, Patrick, as you already probably know since you made this announcement. It's very exciting. So what, October 30th is when you wind up things at your previous job, and then you're going solo.
Yeah, I put in my resignation. I walked into my boss's office a few weeks ago and I said, enough! I am quitting for a better world of podcasting and
Put a
financial
Galois out on his
uncertainty.
desk and threw coffee in his face and said...
Yeah, no, it was a very pleasant conversation, but mostly it was it was a very exciting thing to do, and more exciting even was the announcement yesterday that I made to my lovely, amazing audience and fans that I would be branching out into 100% of the time podcaster. And it was super well received. I'm super thankful, and lots of superlatives like this. And the Patreon has been rising because now I need to eat.
They're like, oh, we're not supplementing his salary anymore. We're feeding him directly. Well, we'll talk more about the various enterprises, including a surprise announcement at the end of the show. But let's start things off with the headlines. TechCrunch reports Apple released a statement on their 40-hour investigation into the unauthorized access of celebrity photos, allegedly from the iCloud accounts of some of these celebrities. Apple determined that, quote, certain celebrity accounts were compromised by a very targeted attack on usernames, passwords, and security questions. Apple says that the intrusions were not the result of breaches in the iCloud or Find My iPhone systems. Ars Technica reports the FBI is also investigating whether the accounts of the celebrities were hacked. So Apple's trying to say, hey, this could happen to anybody if you don't have two-factor authentication or you have a weak password, etc. It still doesn't address whether there was brute force attack prevention measures at fault here or not.
You know, there are two thoughts that entered my mind when I heard about these leaks. First of all, it's an awfully inconvenient time for this to happen. I am wondering, you know, if let's get tinfoil hats on our heads, and who would have an interest for Apple to be embarrassed about security issues a week before their big announcement? All right, that's very tinfoil hatty.
That is pretty tinfoil.
Yes, no, of course, I'm kidding. But the other thing is, all of these, there were lots and lots of celebrities that got hacked, and all of them had naked pictures of themselves on their phones?
I don't know if all of them did. Did all of them?
Well,
'Cause some of them
That's
have
what I
apparently been
understood.
proven to be fakes too. So
Oh,
there's a
okay.
mix.
I don't know. I was thinking, what is this? Like, is everyone taking naked pictures of themselves?
Do you not take
should I be
naked
doing it?
pictures
Yeah,
of
that's-
yourself? I mean, you're
was
going to
wondering-
be
I
a
was
celebrity podcaster now. You know, you got to tick off all the boxes here. It's one of the things that's held me back in my career.
I'm taking notes. Thank you for being a great mentor, Tom. Let's talk about Uber. The New York Times reports on a decision by a court in Frankfurt banning Uber's Uber Pop service from operating in Germany. The court found that Uber did not get the necessary licenses and insurance for all drivers and selected passengers, which is not allowed for taxis who must take anyone who can pay. Uber Black, a service with luxury sedans, is unaffected by the ban. Uber says it will continue to operate in Germany. Uber could face fines up to 250,000 euros, or about $330,000. I was going to say pounds. If any taxi company brings a complaint over Uber violating the ban. It's interesting. I think for the licenses and mostly insurance, that's something they should have. But the reason why Uber is so popular in France, for example, is that taxis do not respect some of the rules, like taking any passenger that can pay. Sometimes they ask you where you want to go, and if you don't look right, they will not take you. So maybe the situation is different in Germany, and taxis are actually cool.
Well, the law apparently is that they have to do that, but I don't know. Maybe if you look like you can't pay, that's enough of a justification. It is interesting. You're seeing a lot of headlines that say Uber will defy the ban and continue to operate, but all I've found Uber saying is we will continue to operate, and Uber Black is allowed to operate, so they could continue to operate legally without risking a fine. Also, the taxi companies have to go to court again and complain about Uber if they want Uber to be fined, so they may be willing to run the risk.
Yeah, I'm sure they will go to I mean, it's their whole business which is threatened now, so.
According to Ars Technica, more than 2,000 game developers signed an open letter asking for tolerance and acceptance in the gaming community. Andreas Zecker wrote the letter, which says, quote, "Everyone, no matter what gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity, religion, or disability, has the right to play games, criticize games, and make games without getting harassed or threatened." The letter comes in response to two recent incidents. Anita Sarkeesian, who creates videos analyzing the portrayal of women in video games, left her home after being threatened. Also, Zoe Quinn, creator of Depression Quest, was harassed and threatened after an ex-boyfriend wrote a critical blog post revealing personal information about her.
That is actually seriously depressing. And as a lifelong gamer, I feel... All right, I'm not going to get into it. It's depressing, and I wish things were different, and I hope they will be in the future.
Focus on Andreas Zecker, because I'm 100% behind a letter asking for people to say, hey, we can all play games, we can all criticize games, we shouldn't be harassed or threatened for our opinions. I'm with you.
TechCrunch reports Google has rebranded its enterprise service as Google for Work. Familiar apps all have enterprise versions, which will now add for work to their name to distinguish them from the free consumer versions. So Drive for Work, Search for Work, etc. The new names are meant to make it simpler to explain what the tools are. So what is Search for Work exactly? Is it a
They do
curated
customized
version
search
that doesn't-
applications for enterprise. We had one at CNET, actually. There's a big yellow box, I remember, down in the server room there that could search across the intranet for us. So,
okay. So you can have both versions of the app on your device, and you know which is which. Yeah, that's actually useful.
Google self-driving car for work. That's your company car. So you know that's different. Netflix has partnered with Facebook to make video recommendations, but maybe not in the way you're going to expect it to. TechCrunch reports that if you've connected your Facebook account to Netflix, after watching a show, you'll be asked if you want to suggest a video to a Facebook friend. If you do it, the suggestion will not show up in the Facebook news feed, which is what I would have thought. Instead, it will pop up the next time that person uses Netflix. Or if they don't have Netflix, it will be sent as a Facebook private message.
That sounds like exactly the way it should work.
Yeah, oddly it does, right? I mean, I guess on the other end, I might be like, hey, I'm friends with you on Facebook, but I don't want you populating my Netflix feed with a bunch of stuff. But I imagine you can go into Facebook and put them in a category, put those people in a category that says don't send me these Netflix things. But I like this. This is Facebook as the middleman saying, hey, we're going to collect the data about what movies get recommended because that's what we do, and that'll help us sell advertising. But otherwise, we're just going to stay out of the way and just let the apps talk where they should instead of filling up everybody's newsfeed.
And Netflix is launching on the 15th in France, finally.
Right.
So I'll have
and
a
an
use for that too.
original French program being made for the Netflix France to come next year, too.
Yeah. Yeah, and apparently they're going to sell it everywhere, or use it in other countries as well. It's about Marseille, a city in the south, which is, it's going to be interesting. We'll see. CNET reports that Sonos will now let users connect its speakers directly to a Wi-Fi network without the need for a bridge connected to your router. Yay. Sonos Playbar in 3.1 or 5.1 configurations will still need a wired connection. A software update is available today. If your home is too big to get good Wi-Fi everywhere, If your home is too big to get Wi-Fi everywhere you'd like a speaker, Sonos also has a new wireless peripheral called the Sonos Boost, available later this year for $99.
That's essentially replacing the bridge, from what I can tell, to say like, hey, we want people to be able to set these up even easier without needing a bridge. So. That's kind of cool. Actually, I wish this had happened when we got our Sonos. We got it free with points on the credit card, but we still had to use some of the points on the bridge, and we wouldn't have had to. That would have been cool.
Are you one of the people completely in love with Sonos? I've never used them, but I hear
you know what I found
good things. I don't understand
I used
why
to be
it's so
completely in love with it because it was like, oh my gosh, I just launched the app, press a button, I'm playing my things. However, in this world of Chromecasts and Apple AirPlay, I find myself wishing I could cast to the Sonos instead of having to open the Sonos app and use the things associated with it. I'm like, well, why do I have to associate it with my Rdio account? Can't I just press a thing on my Rdio app and just send it right to the Sonos? The United States government has asked U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska to find Microsoft in contempt of court, refusing to hand over access to emails held on servers in Ireland. Microsoft is refusing to do that. She says if you don't hand them over, that might be contempt. At least the U.S. is asking for that. Microsoft says only an Irish court can make such an order. They're like, the emails are in Ireland. If the EU or Ireland tells us to do this, then we'll do it. Judge Preska ordered Microsoft to hand over the emails anyway last week. Ars Technica reports Microsoft said, quote, everyone agrees this case can and will proceed to the appeals court. This is simply about finding the appropriate procedure for that to happen. So they're trying to avoid handing it over before they get an appeals court to rule whether Judge Preska is right about whether they have to hand it over or not.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Microsoft on this. I guess that's the thing that comes back every time you talk about this case. If the U.S. can request data from that's stored in another country, then there's no justifiable reason that China can't request data from a server in the U.S. or somewhere else. And that's a much more chilling prospect.
Yeah. Time for some news from you. These are things that are popular on our subreddit. We got thousands of people in there, and you should be one of them if you're not. If you are, thank you for helping us figure out what's of interest to the audience. If you're out there saying, like, why didn't they talk about the new HTML picture tag and how that's going to speed up the internet? Well, one way you could have gotten that on the show is submit it to the subreddit at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com and see if enough other people are interested in it. Diggsalot submitted a post from WeLiveSecurity.com passing along a popular science story about fake cell phone towers. The article quotes CEO of ESD America Les Goldsmith saying his team found 17 interceptors during the month of July when they were doing tests on their phone. An interceptor is used by law enforcement and criminals alike to mimic a cell phone tower and intercept cell phone connections without being detected. You just think you're connected to Verizon or whatever. ESD America markets a hardened Samsung Galaxy phone called the CryptoPhone 500.
Captain Kipper passes along the TechCrunch report about Apple publishing the top 10 reasons it rejects apps. 60% of apps rejections during a 7-day period in 2014 were due to these 10 reasons. The number one most common reason? More information needed. That's really informative. The number 2 reason, bugs in the code. I hope they go into a little bit more detail than this. Other reasons include not complying with the developer program license agreement, an overly complex or poorly designed interface, or the use of placeholder text. 42% of the rejections were for the other reasons because reasons.
Yeah. From what I understand, they don't really tell you. They just say this is the rule that you violated, and that's it. I love that placeholder text. Apple's going through like, you still have lorem ipsum in here. Come on, figure it out.
That's the one that, actually, yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah, and it's easier to find. Like, oh, crap, where did I leave that? TM204 passed along the 9 to 5 Mac story that Reddit has launched an Ask Me Anything app for iOS. They say an Android one will come eventually. It gives you an easy way to follow real-time and archived AMAs. AMAs are Reddit's most popular feature, with 6.2 million followers, and a third of Reddit's visitors are coming from mobile these days, so the site is planning to try to address that user base more actively. I would imagine we'll see some more Reddit apps coming down the pike.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, Reddit is a really difficult UI to navigate on the web, especially. I've been using the Alien Blue app, which is wonderful and got me into Reddit, really, on iOS devices, especially on the iPad. But AMAs are also the most consumer and wide reader-base friendly program that they have, or activity. So it's not that surprising they're going with that first, at least.
And they've had some really big ones in the past couple of years. Bill Gates did one recently. So they're really fun. They're really fun to read. I love the Bill Murray one that they did. So this makes sense to be one of the first ones to try, like making a really good interface for that. And that is a look at the headlines. Man, I was at Dragon Con this weekend, as you probably know. Maybe you'd like me to shut up about it, but I can't help but telling you how fun it was to look out in the audience when we were doing these panels and doing these shows and see somebody with a DTNS shirt. I probably really embarrassed this one woman the first time I saw one because I was like, oh my God, look at that. I don't even own one of those, which I don't, but I should. And you should too. So all of us here, those of us like me who don't have a Daily Tech News Show shirt, should go to slashloot.com right now. It has the logo that was made by Mustafa from the polarcat.com. You can get the shirt in white, black, and ash. Just go to slashloot.com, look in the podcast section. That's SLASHLOOT.com. Click on the podcast section. Get yourself a DTNS shirt. Support the show. That's just one of the ways. Thanks, everybody. All right. So another way to support shows, this one, but not just this one, is YouTube fan funding. I actually got this email last week or the week before saying that they were letting my channel try this out. They're only having select creators on YouTube try it out. Eventually it'll come to everyone. But it's a button for donations. So they're fighting with the Kickstarters, Patreons, PayPal buttons of the world, trying to say, hey, here's another way to support YouTubers. The icon appears in the left corner of a video. When it's active on a video, it's a little heart. And then there's also a support button that can show up on the channel page. If you click on it, in the video, it brings a banner when you hover over it, or if you click on it either place, it brings a pop-up message. Either way, it takes you to a message where the user can decide how much to give. It's not repeatable. It's just a one-time thing. And then you can do your own amount, or they do some pre-suggested amounts. YouTube keeps 5% plus a flat fee. It's 21 cents in the U.S. It's roughly around 21 cents in the other places where it's been launched. But it hasn't been launched everywhere. It's only available in Australia, the United States, Japan, and the UK. So as a YouTube spokesperson told The Next Web, just a handful of creators testing it out at the moment. You might not see it everywhere. But of great interest, not just to YouTube creators, but probably to folks like you, Patrick Beja, and me as well.
Yeah, it's a really interesting initiative. They did announce it was coming. It's not a complete surprise. The way it's working, I guess there are two things that are interesting. The way that it's working, you have one-time donations only. You don't have subscriptions yet. Maybe it's going to come. And the other thing is, I cannot remember for the life of me. Yes.
By the way, I said the UK. It's not the UK. It's Mexico. Australia, Japan, Mexico, and the US. But carry on.
The other thing is, especially to us when we're looking at this, what is the rate at which viewers are going to be using this donation button? Because YouTube is really at the heart of the free content philosophy of the web, and I think most of the YouTube users and viewers are really expecting that they're going to get something for free. Now, of course, if I understand this correctly, this is an option that people can donate if they want, much in the way that we do our shows. People can choose to donate if they want to. So it might be that some videos will be for pay, and I think there's already a system.
I think that's a separate program where you can put shows behind the paywall. You can have subscription channels where you get certain things if you're a subscriber that pays. But this is just this is a tip jar. This says like, hey,
tip jar.
You wanna help this channel out? Here's a way to do it. You can pop $1 in there, and I think it all depends on how the message is given by the particular creator, and they're going to have to know their audience, how well this is going to do. Because like you say, it's real straightforward if you're a channel that's got a paywall up, and not all channels are allowed to do that. But if every channel is allowed to do this, it's going to matter how much they can convince their audience, like, hey, man, I'm Lamar Wilson. Throw $1 in there if you want me to stay funny. I mean, I could see that absolutely working for somebody like Lamar. There's other situations like somebody who's making a music video. It becomes a little harder to tack that on to the end somehow,
It is a bit difficult. And the question becomes, can this potentially, maybe that's jumping ahead a little bit, could this be an alternative to the ad revenue model that everyone's using, actually on YouTube, but everywhere on the internet, which, by the way, really shapes the content that the internet has, because with an ad revenue model, you really have the ad revenue is so low per user that you really have to churn out content, and to maybe it would be a motivation to sensationalize the headlines or the content itself in order to grab an easy attention. Of course, those people would not pay for it, but if they're watching it for free and you're getting paid with the ad revenue, then that works. I guess the question I'm asking is much in the same way that our content that we are creating because we're getting our audience to pay for it is a little bit more, I'm going to say it, higher quality, maybe not, but it's a little bit more reflective, or we can survive on smaller audiences. Could the model of the internet be altered by the tendency, the trend of getting people to pay for stuff, which hasn't been seen in 10 or 15 years?
I don't think you have to bring in whether it's higher quality or not to make that argument, to be honest.
Well,
it does tend to make it sound like you're a little snooty when you don't mean to be, right? Because I think what you're saying about the smaller audience success level is pertinent, and the way I would express it is, I don't have to go doing things and chasing after high numbers. I can super serve the people that like my content if they're giving me enough to continue to make it, right? It's all about keeping those people happy as a YouTube creator. Like maybe I can do something like, I'll make sure to continue to keep this channel ad-free since you guys are supporting me so well. Now YouTube does have some restrictions on what you can do. You can't give your money to charity. You can't try to fund things. You can't say like, I need you to donate to fund my tour. They're trying to avoid this being Kickstarter-like. That you can only just say like, hey, this is going to be helping me continue to do my channel. But I think a lot of people could do a lot of good things that way because they can't make enough money off of the ads without chasing those super high numbers, which would change the content they would do. If they've got a loyal audience that, like we've got, right, that can pitch in enough to make the show happen, then suddenly they're not worried about trying to boost those numbers. I wonder if YouTube is okay with that, right? Because YouTube really wants those high numbers because that's how they sell ads.
Well, the thing is, by the numbers we have, a creator gets about $1 per 1,000 impressions on YouTube for ad revenue. And that's a really, really low amount. So maybe if you get people to donate money that they're willing to donate, they're going to get more money, even though you're going to have less people watching, and that's still revenue for YouTube. So I'm not sure they care where it comes from.
They're like, we're getting our 5%. We don't care where it comes from. Yeah, no, that's a great point.
Although
the YouTube ad sales team is going to feel differently. They're like, no, we really need to bulk up this number to convince Calgon to come in and make a big buy. But
sure. And the thing is, for ads, they keep a lot more of the money that the ad generates. But maybe the answer for this type of fan funding, which probably is not going to make huge amounts of money for people, is that it will allow for people like us that have smaller, compared to the PewDiePies and these kinds of people of the world,
Right.
smaller audiences to actually thrive on YouTube, which is kind of difficult today. They have to go through Patreon, which I absolutely love, and I'll never stop using, I think, but although never say never. But that is not very user friendly, and some people are managing to make a pretty good living on Patreon, which has the recurring subscription, which is very important. But if that gets integrated in a very user friendly way on YouTube, there's no reason why it couldn't work for audiences that are very engaged. So maybe those smaller channels, which could not make a living out of the ads because they were too small for that, could find a way to make better revenue with this. And that's an exciting opportunity. I think we could see a very different type of content be successful on YouTube as opposed to just being there as a means to do something else.
And I think, some people may say, well, I don't want to switch, right? But if you're on YouTube and you can turn this thing on, there's no reason not to, unless you're the kind of channel that builds its reputation on not taking money from the public, which that may be your thing. But for most people, it's a no-lose situation. You might as well turn it on and see what happens. But that doesn't mean stop using Kickstarter or stop using Indiegogo or stop using Patreon, right? They're not exclusive things, so...
I'm sure some of the bigger channels are going to would get into an iffy situation. People might think that they're double dipping, getting ad revenue and fan funding, as they're
it's going to be harder
it,
for a YouTube creator with millions and millions of subscribers,
right,
whose money level is reported on Deadline, to be able to say, hey, I need you to kick in $1 for a cup of coffee. Yeah, it's I'm not saying it's impossible. Some audiences might be willing to do it. I don't know, but yeah, that is a harder pitch to make. All right, let's look at the calendar. Tomorrow, September 3rd, Sony's holding a press event at the IFA trade show in Berlin. Possible that Sony will unveil a new Xperia device. We'll keep an eye on that. Also, Samsung's holding their IFA press event tomorrow, which will likely feature the Galaxy Note 4, as well as a possible look at some Samsung wearables. Also, did we mention that the IFA trade show is ramping up in Berlin? Because, yeah, IFA is happening in Berlin. The main show actually doesn't begin until September 5th. That's the way these things always go. All the press events happen before the show actually starts, and it runs through September 10th. A couple other things got announced today, though. Yeah, go ahead.
Just very quickly, you mentioned a couple of shows ago, I think, that I always had something interesting to say, and I felt, very pressured to come up with something interesting to say. So I'm going to tell you that IFA actually stands for International Funkausstellung Berlin, which actually means International Radio Exhibition Berlin. So Berlin Radio Show.
Yeah, that's where it has its roots.
Yeah,
they do washing machines and stuff too, though.
It's interesting.
That is it. That is interesting.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
Yeah, nice. BlackBerry announces plans to host an invite-only event called See the Bigger Picture event on September 24th in Toronto, London, and Dubai. NextWeb speculates that the event might be to reveal the BlackBerry Passport, a smartphone which could have a square 4.5-inch 1440 by 1440 pixel display. And finally, the Xbox One will be released in 28 more markets during the month of September. Microsoft made that announcement today. That includes China, India, Korea, and Japan. This round of releases includes 8 countries that were supposed to get the Xbox One last year but didn't, and that includes Belgium, Denmark, Finland, Netherlands, Norway, Russia, Sweden, and Switzerland. You can get a full list of all 28 countries in the show notes or just searching around on the internet. But look at dailytechnewsshow.com for the show notes. Our pick of the day is from me, because Jenny said, should we be telling people how to protect themselves? Because all this talk out here about iPhoto getting hacked, or Find My iPhone, or iCloud getting hacked. And I don't really like to do a lot of how-tos. There's lots of how-to people out there that do it really well. But our pick of the day is meant for just this sort of thing. So I want to recommend 2 things that I use to help back up my data so that if it does get wiped out, for whatever reason, I've got another copy of it, and a way to manage my passwords so that I'm not using the same password at every site, and I'm using a hard to brute force attack password. Crash plan is the thing I use to back up. It's from code42.com, code42.com/crashplan, and it just works automatically in the background, backing me up. It is part of a multi-prong way of backing up. I back up to a local hard drive, of course have the version that is on the hard drive, and then I have a version with crash plan as well. And then LastPass is a password manager, and one password is another good password manager. Whichever one you choose, the advantage here is that you don't use the same password at every website. You let LastPass remember the passwords, and it makes them more difficult to crack. I'm not saying it's going to 100% protect you if somebody really wants to get in, but it certainly can make it a lot more difficult. And it's certainly a lot better than using the same password at multiple sites. And it'll even alert you and say, like, hey, this password matches another password you've got stored in LastPass. Are you sure that's okay?
It's I don't use CrashPlan specifically. I use Carbonite, but I do use
another good one.
LastPass. Yeah, I'm not. You'll have to tell me if CrashPlan is better. But I no.
They're both good. Use whichever one works for you.
And I do use LastPass, and I have to say it was a little bit hard to get into the habit of just using a password that I will never remember, because I was always on the back of my mind, I had but what if I need it? What if there's something that happens and when you get into the habit of it, it's fairly easy, it's fairly painless, and you can always have access to them. You have the LastPass app or browser plugin or whatever, so it's really well crafted, and I also recommend it. It's my pick of the day too.
The key is to protect your LastPass vault with a secure password, because that is the downside, right, of using a password manager. Is you have one point of failure to all your passwords. So,
which, by the way, you can also set up two-factor authentication for, of course.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Do that too. Send your picks to feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com, and you can find my picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. Got our message of the day from Scott Abeldinger, who wrote in reaction to our short podcast from Friday that I recorded from the San Francisco airport. I was talking about how they rebooted the plane that I was on from Los Angeles to San Francisco while it was on the ground, people, and that fixed the problem. And I was just entertained by the fact that turning it off and turning it on again fixed the plane. Scott said, your reaction to the idea of rebooting the plane made me laugh, and I just wanted to let you know that it's a very common fix for airplane issues. For the airplane I fly, I would estimate that cycling the power on the entire airplane fixes about 75% of the maintenance issues we get on the ground. Computers,
That's a little bit worrisome.
Really? Does that bother you?
Well, I don't know. It was a long time ago we used to have to reboot our computers. I mean, you don't have to reboot your Windows or Mac machine nowadays, mostly. Sometimes you do.
It's usually for a security update is the reason I reboot.
Yeah, something like that. But it's not like to fix something you don't really know what the issue is. So for a plane, is it like, I don't know. I would expect planes to not need to be rebooted in order to work or to fix an issue. So the fact that you had that problem, Tom, was entertaining enough. But the fact that Scott says the airplane he flies actually needs to be rebooted for 75% of the maintenance issues.
I tell you what, I do end up turning off and on again a lot are phones and tablets when they get into some weird mode. Just like, just turn it off. It's the universal solution, man. It's actually comforting me to know that, like, computers are computers, no matter where you go.
Sure.
Well, that is it for the show. Thank you, Patrick Beja, twitter.com/notpatrick. And of course, if you are a French speaker or would like to become a French speaker, maybe, you should check out Le Rendezvous Tech, which you can find to support at patreon.com/rdvtech. That is not your only project, though, right? You're branching out now. Once you leave your current job, what other projects can you tell us about?
Well, I don't want to say too much. I'm going to leave the surprises to when that happens, but it won't be too surprising to people that I am, as I was saying, a lifelong gamer, and I have basically two passions in life. It's technology and video games. So it's fair to assume that what I am going to do is probably going to have something to do with video games.
Well, you're hosting for me next week, September 10th and September 11th, both, while I'm out of town. So appreciate that. Yeah.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm happy to.
Did you know that?
Oh, they did. No, yes, of course. It's a poor attempt at humor. I apologize. There will be more of those next week when I'm hosting for you.
Yeah, September 10th and 11th for more of those French attempts at humor. But also, I think you should just stick around as a regular contributor because now you're just going to be a podcaster.
Wait, you are you sure?
Yeah.
You do realize I'm French, Tom.
Yeah, oui.
Yeah, are you asking me to be on the show on a regular basis?
Do you need me to get down on one knee?
I think it would help, but it's not required. Yes, I am happy to accept. No, please don't. This is embarrassing. Not in front of all those people, Tom. I told you I didn't. Wow, this is not how I imagined that would go.
No,
yes,
actually,
Tom, I would be very happy to be a regular contributor on the show.
So I've been hinting around about this all month. Patrick Beja is going to join us as a regular contributor once a week. I think we've nailed down the day, but we'll let you know for sure once that's solid. And I would like to do more of that. That is one of the things that crowd support allows us to do. It allows us to do things to make the show better. And one of the things I want to do is have regular people who are really good at doing this and have interesting perspectives. So starting after I get back from our vacation.
So why are you asking me? Another French attempt at you.
No, you fit that because it's so French.
Okay.
Like I would never
I'd
never think of these things because
no, it makes sense.
Yeah, and the more Patreon support we get, the more support in general we get from all of the various ways of supporting the show, the more of this kind of thing we could do. So if you'd like to see more regular contributors, that's a reason to either up your Patreon level or maybe back Patreon or give us a PayPal donation or whatever. But I'm just mostly excited to have Patrick along for the ride as a co-pilot every so often. So thank you, Patrick. I really appreciate it.
We joke around, but it's really something that means a lot to me. I grew up as a podcaster listening to you, on Buzz Out Loud with Molly and Veronica and Jason and all of that. And I feel a little bit like I remember watching Dignation, where Alex Albrecht would tell Kevin Rose, I used to watch you on TV, and now I'm here. And this is a little bit like that for me. You're my podcasting hero, and I couldn't be more honored or happier to be invited to join the show. So thank you so much to you and Jenny.
Oh, no, our pleasure. Absolutely. Who knew the French were so polite? See, busting those stereotypes already. No, seriously. Thank you, Patrick. That's very nice of you to say. All right. Thank you, patrons. dailytechnewsshow.com/donate. This is the kind of thing that you're supporting here. You're getting value from the show. We're making every effort to give you value back. So we'll keep trying. And thank you for your continued support. Don't forget you can have a voice in what stories we cover at our subreddit, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. Email us feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. Give us a call, 512-59-DAILY. That's 512-593-2459. And listen to the show live on mobile.alphageekradio.com or visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. We'll be back tomorrow with Allison Sheridan as our guest. See you then.
About this and other shows, visit frogpants.com. Audio programs so good, it's like
Hooray!
you're there.
Hey.
Well, I was glad to see people in the chat room seemed happy.
Yes.
I'm glad and relieved that people in the chat room seem happy. I mean, if they weren't, if they had, for example, taken pitchforks and come down in the streets to demand the head of that could have been the shortest career in podcasting ever. But yes, thank you, chat room. I hope I will live up to your insanely high expectations.
Now I have no more secrets to poorly keep. What is someone to do?
Well, there is a second person
that's
on
right.
the list.
Totally
If we get more Patreon money, but we can't unlock that person.
Ooh. It's like an achievement.
Yeah.
Who is the person? Now I'm curious.
I know you don't even know who it is, do you?
No. I'm gonna up my patronage to Patreon.
The person is.
Ooh. It's all very exciting.
It is. I didn't get to. Oh,
yes.
sorry.
Go ahead.
There was someone just before we started the show, Jean Flahut, who sent me a message on Twitter. It's a small diagram about the fact that I was leaving my job and actually doing this. It's a small diagram with like a small circle saying your comfort zone, and then a bigger circle outside of the first one that reads where the magic happens. And I thought that was very nice.
That's cool.
At least it would be in the YouTube version. And that's very reassuring, because I guess you guys, I mean, you know this feeling very well, but it's very strange for me to be in this position and to be both terrified and very excited at the same time.
Yeah, the
not
have I
sure
made
what's
a
gonna
horrible
happen,
mistake feeling. That
Yeah. And I couldn't sleep the night before I actually announced it. I was thinking, because very like you did. I mean, you had a year ago, more or less. It's like, if people don't get behind this Patreon thing, I'm not going to be able to buy food. So
I know. It's terrifying. I have been actually having anxiety dreams just based on the fact that I'm producing this show without Tom for a week. They've all been like my old jobs, like all my old jobs, but some horrible twist on them, and then some horribly illogical problem that the moment I wake up, I'm like, oh, I could just do this. But like I went in one dream, I went looking for the CBS Evening News newsroom where it always used to be, and it was gone.
Oh no!
And I went to my old boss, who was the LA bureau chief, and I was like, "Where's the newsroom?" Like, it's just gone. And oh man, they just got weirder. So clearly, I'm a little stressed out. So I sympathize.
You're gonna be fine. Everyone tell
am.
Jenny she's gonna be fine.
I feel like I'm
Jenny,
mostly
you're going to be fine.
Well, I know I'm going to be fine on the Wednesday and the Thursday that Patrick is here.
See?
And pretty great.
That's your internal PR team speaking, isn't it?
No. They go off as soon as the show's off. There's a
title.
Yes, title. Hold on. I'm not actually even doing my job now. I'm so focused on the failing at the job. All right. I like Rejected Because of Reasons.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
And then 10 Things I Hate About Your App is pretty great.
That's nice.
It's a little bit. It's not that much longer than Rejected Because of Reasons,
yeah.
though.
And I love Yes Patrick personally.
That kind of gives it away, though.
Yeah. And
he said we.
He said we. Pardon
Patreon
my
French. Patreon My French is nice,
Yes.
but it gives it away a little bit.
Let's see. There was the one. There was one that was lower down that I really liked.
Yeah, TVZ gone. Let's about your question. You'll be able to actually talk gaming on Scott Johnson's shows now. I will not be prevented by professional contractual obligations to talk about gaming. So draw your own conclusions. Do you think I'll be able to shut up about these things? I guess, if you can answer that.
Well, I mean, obviously, when anyone leaves a job that has confidential material, they're going to be prevented from talking about that confidential material.
Oh, sure, of course.
That's just normal, and Patrick's not going to be any exception there. But while you're working for a gig, there's more restrictions on other things those will go away, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, basically, working as a Blizzard employee, I can't really talk about or give my opinion or report on video games, because that is biased, first of all, and second of all, it might be construed as my employer's stance or opinion on something. Once I'm not employed by Blizzard Entertainment anymore, that restriction goes away. So I can talk about anything I want, except, of course, the trade secrets and confidential information that I was privy to during my tenure there.
Rejected
because of reasons.
Yeah.
Those things he can't talk about.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So
That should be your tagline every time a Blizzard topic comes up after you've
Rejected
left and you're on a
because of
podcast. Like, I can't talk about that. Rejected because of reasons.
I'm so excited to be able to talk about these things.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be a huge relief.
Yeah,
I mean, there's still going to be
honestly,
things you have to think about, but so many fewer.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, there aren't a lot of things I'm going to need to think about.
That's good.
Yeah, it's yeah, anyway, it will be easy and huge relief.
Very exciting.
Are we going to use Rejected because of reasons as our title?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Isn't it like rejected because reasons?
Oh,
Do
you know
need-
what? Yeah, we probably, that
Yeah.
is like, that is more true to the meme, so.
Yeah. It's a good thing.
This is actually a little easier to publish than when you're sitting in a terminal at an airport.
Yeah. I can imagine.
As fun as that, it actually was kind of fun. That was when it actually worked out, and I was like, "Oh wow, this really worked." That was kind of amazing.
I once recorded a show in a Russian airport as I was waiting to depart.
Oh yeah,
An hour and a
Russia.
half long show.
Show records you.
I was going to say that.
somebody had to.
I've been waiting for that moment for like 6 months.
I've actually, now I'm trying to think. I think I've recorded multiple episodes of shows in airports, but I think only ever the San Francisco airport, which is funny because this one was just happenstance. Like I wasn't intending to record it at SFO at all. I wasn't supposed to be there for more than 10 minutes. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, the show was 6 minutes, so you could have.
Well, sure, but it took more than that in prep. Because what happened is I missed my connection, so I had an extra
You
2
prepped
hours.
your
So
shows.
I went to the, I went and sat down by a power outlet and, figured out
Down
what the
by the
stories
river.
were and wrote some stuff up. And Jenny helped me, collect some stories. And then I went out to the terminal aisleway and sat down and recorded.
That is dedication.
It's just kind of
Oh,
fun.
hey, congratulations on your award.
Thank you. Yeah,
That
Sword and
is
Laser won a
excellent.
Parsec award,
That
which
is awesome.
Veronica was extremely over the moon about. Not that I'm not happy too, but it made her Dragon Con.
Yeah. Well,
What's
I
the-
I haven't really got to do more than touch it once, like
Yeah.
she has.
of any show that deserved to win at Dragon Con, I would certainly say that it was Sword and Laser because
Oh, well,
it's a
thank
very
you.
fine show.
Daily Tech News Show was nominated. It was an honor
That's-
to be nominated.
Yes, but I always felt like I could see us in other award shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Like,
That's
I really
it's funny.
like the idea that Frasier won.
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
to me is an
No, that was great.
entirely appropriate.
Absolutely, was very happy for Fraser.
And I felt a little uncomfortable always about us in it anyway.
I became aware of Dragon Con and started going to Dragon Con because they nominated Buzz Out Loud for a Parsec, and at the time I was like, why? I mean, these are all fan science fiction and fantasy podcasts. Like, we don't really talk about that much, if at all. But they're like, well, no, we like to recognize science and technology too. I'm like, all right, that's cool. But yeah, Sword and Laser is like right there in the
No, it's right there in the lane.
wheelhouse.
In the lane, it's good. No, I would like many awards for this hardworking show, but
Oh yes, and TVZ Gun congratulated me on getting my torso on the BBC.
oh yeah, I saw that. That was hilarious. That was maybe
Did
the
you get
best.
your torso on the BBC?
On the BBC website. They did a story about the
Wow.
Ice Bucket Challenge. And it was funny is like, I'm just going through my feed randomly on the plane, and I see this thing about like, how much difference has the Ice Bucket Challenge really made, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm curious what the BBC thinks about this. So I open it up and I'm reading through, and then all of a sudden I look and I see my Slurm shirt and Veronica getting water poured over her, and they'd taken somebody's Flickr image, and they'd put that picture from the Night Attack show up on that article.
That is tremendous.
So
Who's
now I'm
knocking?
famous.
Are your dogs knocking?
No, that's not knocking. That's Django. Long-time listeners know what this is. Sometimes Django goes and wants to lay down on the rug directly above this mic. And she does the dog thing where they scratch to make it more comfortable, even though I don't think it really makes it more comfortable. And if she does it right there, because the mic is pointed up and it's directional, it goes like she's talking right into the mic, and it just sounds like, what the?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Because dogs. All right. Let's see. Should we talk about fun stuff?
Oh, that was Tensor Guy's cooler that I was holding in the picture on the BBC.
Nice.
So his cooler is now famous too.
Yes.
Thank you for reminding me.
That was a wonderful picture. I mean, that was like a classic ice bucket picture.
That's probably why they used it. I don't.
Yeah.
Was that Chimera's picture? I don't remember who
No,
the
it was a random name I didn't know.
rando.
But it was classic. But TVZ Gun does approve of that guy's gear, or that person's gear.
It was a high quality shot. You're right.
So many things to talk to Patrick about. So many things.
Wait, what?
Well, now you can say why.
Oh, I can say why. I want to know. I don't want to know it right now while we're still live, but I want Patrick's input on who he would like to co-host with.
Oh, next week. Yeah.
Yeah, next week.
I would be very happy to co-host
tell
with
me live.
President Obama.
Okay, I will work on booking President Obama.
You should be able to do that.
He's available. Working his way down to the podcast level.
I mean, since I won't be on.
Yeah. He's a good reader of copy. Very brisk.
Look.
Brisk delivery. Yeah.
Apple.
Apple.
Was that your impression of President
That's as
Obama?
far as I can go on President.
Let me tell you here
Look.
about Apple. Apple has an
Big screen.
Big screen. Good stuff.
Oh, that wasn't too bad. That little movement there that they
Thanks.
do.
And
Okay, so that's your thought assignment. Patrick.
So
Cooler Famous is the coldest of fames.
All fame is cold, my friend. All fame is cold.
Torso Famous is my Ace
very
Detect
cold.
cover band.
Fame. What is your cover band? What did you say again? I missed that.
Oh no, it was BioCow that was saying Torso Famous is my Ace Detect cover band.
We are Torso Famous. We'll be here all week. I don't know why that they are British, but they are.
Oh, that was British. Right,
Oh,
no,
stop.
I got
Oh,
it. I got
stop.
it. So when the one Jenny J?
As soon as we go off the air.
Okay.
Because she's going to say, look, I'm really happy it's not Tom. On that.
No, are you kidding? I'm having anxiety dreams, man.
I know.
I had a dream that I was on the set of General Hospital, which I
Really?
haven't watched for years,
Wow.
by the way, and that you had somehow booked a character on General Hospital on Daily Tech News Show, and they were like pitching their version of like Ron Popeil's Chicken Master,
Because I'm always trying to
and I
get
had to
someone
make
from
it
a
on
daytime
the
soap on the
London
show.
Underground to the show to get there in time to produce the show, and I was so panicked about it, and someone was trying to steal my wallet, and I had to cross the train tracks, so all these problems. And then I woke up, and I was like, the damn show's on the internet. I don't have to go anywhere. It's like ridiculous. Just ridiculous. So yeah, dream after dream after dream. I also think I have a fan that's keeping me awake, like a convection fan that has a certain frequency that keeps me like low level awake to remember my dreams. It's been a tough week. Tough week.
Stop using the fan.
I would, but it's very nice when you fall asleep. It's just when you wake up at 5 in the morning and you're like, everything is weird. So anyway, there you go. You wanted to see inside an anxious brain? You people got it. Oh, where are the DTNS show notes? Daily Tech News Show.
Talking about anxious, I installed and launched the PT demo on PlayStation 4. You know that Hideo Kojima demo for. Have you heard about this, Tom?
Sorry, I'm in the middle of an editing mistake.
Are you?
Tom's got his
Do you play
problem
video
like
games,
Beja.
Jenny?
Me, no. I'm talking to the
Oh,
chat
okay.
room.
All right. Well, no one cares about my
wait,
my
I
story.
care.
That's fine.
Do tell.
Well, now it's not going to live up
This
to
could be
our
the beginning of a
expectations.
beautiful friendship.
So it's a scary game, and I was so scared that I couldn't play past the first 5 minutes, and that was the story. There you go.
Oh, see, everybody's anxiety dreams are awesome. I love
Everything
anxiety.
That wasn't a dream.
It
That
wasn't?
actually happened. No, it happened. I was going to play earlier today, and I was actually scared. My wife isn't at home, and there were scary noises and scary environments in the
What
game,
was
and
the
I was
game? Yeah. What was the game though? You can say.
yeah, no, I can. It's a demo on PlayStation 4 called PT. It's playable trailer, I guess. It's a surprise. It's a marketing stunt that's actually a good demo for a game, and it's just I guess the point of it was actually so scary. I was like, I'm not sure I want to be scared like this. I don't want to inflict this sentiment upon my soul. And
I felt that way
and I
watching
actually stopped playing, feeling like guilty about not playing this thing, which is just a video game. But I don't know. I must be getting old.
No, they really work on you. They do, especially alone in an apartment.
Yes.
It's terrifying.
And there was a noise in the kitchen. I was like, "What was that noise?"
Oof.
So I stopped.
Well, also, where you live is full of ghosts in general.
It is?
I'm thinking the general Parisian area. I feel like it's pretty full of ghosts.
Well, we have the catacombs. That
You have a history. There's a history there.
Yeah, Tondagosa. It looked like I literally played. Actually, I was stuck in the beginning. The door wouldn't open so much, and I couldn't find out why the baby was crying behind the door. And I was like, okay, never
Sounds
mind.
horrible.
It sounds like a
is
dream.
like it's nothing. It's like a corridor with 4 doors, and it's very well done. It puts you in a place where you really don't want to be. I used to play all of these games when I was younger, but now I don't think I will.
What? They took my torso off the page?
Aww.
They replaced
Did
it
they
with a
leave the
bar
rest,
chart. Oh, man.
Hey, some of our torsos never even got to be on the page, okay?
I'm the only one they replaced, too.
Maybe they
Well,
realized
Veronica is the only one.
you were a famous person and were scared of litigation.
Probably scared of Veronica. You should be scared of Veronica. She'll sue you.
I'm not going to type anymore. Okay. I think I have a plan for Friday, but I may not have a plan for Friday.
So I fooled what I'm fixing right now is I fooled myself. I played the opening
Google Translate.
early, and I thought that was the beginning of the show. And then I uploaded it, and I'm like, why is it 50 minutes long? And then I went back and played it and realized I caught all of our pre-show stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, now I'm going to go back and make it. So I'm redoing everything from scratch. So that's what's going on.
So wait, your 10 minutes of fame is over on the BBC?
Yeah,
That's too bad.
thanks to Scary Belmont.
Well, maybe that Flickr user was like, "Yo, BBC, don't use my picture without payment."
Well, then, yo, Flickr user, that's my Slurm shirt, so you pay me now,
See,
unless you put it back.
This is how all the problems start.
I know, exactly. That's why we need copyright reform,
Yep.
to make simple rules that actually achieve the objective of copyright law.
Agree.
But I could go on, and I will, for hours. yours now. Okay. Let's make sure. This is why I'm glad I checked the files.
Yep. It's always good to... I should note that. Check files.
Before you publish the blog post,
Before you
check,
publish the blog
check the file and make sure it's not truncated or...
Yeah. See, my concern is also, you're very good at this so you can talk while you do this stuff. I'm going to have to remain, like, silent and head down or just do it after.
So
Patrick,
the
the
hosts
talking will be on
can yeah, exactly. I'll entertain the chat room. I'm able to do that with various I saw someone was calling for the cowboy hat in the chat room. Sorry, I
I'll
can't
tell you
remember
something.
who it was.
That
so.
cowboy hat and that American flag shirt, that was like maybe the highlight of my Nerdtacular. Because I wasn't really paying attention. Like, I was just kind of like drifting with an ice cream cone, like sitting in the back, like kind of like hanging out. All of a sudden, I was like, what is happening? So awesome.
Well, I
Please,
don't
the
have
French,
the
come to the rescue.
yeah.
It's
I won't have
fantastic.
the American flag shirt, which I don't think I should wear ever again, honestly.
No.
But the
a
cowboy
one-time
hat will
thing.
be somewhere. Yeah, it is.
Everybody can be a cowboy. You don't have to be an American to be a cowboy.
I
That
want
is
to
true.
be a cowboy.
You do?
No, actually don't.
You're from Texas too.
No.
Tom's more of a pioneer.
Pioneer. I'm going to die from dysentery. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, no.
I'm from Illinois, but I lived in Texas for 6 years. That's what you're thinking of, I guess.
Yeah.
Deep in the
You know-
heart of Texas. Oh, the cooler filed a DCMA takedown.
The cooler did. Tensor Guy's cooler actually became self-aware and filed a takedown notice.
Did you see that smart cooler that's floating out there? That Kickstarter for the smartest cooler ever?
Yeah, we talked about it. Where did we talk
Yeah.
about it? On
We
Morning
talked
Stream?
about it. We talked
Yeah.
about it somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about stuff.
So don't joke about aware coolers. They're coming.
In the works.
Let's see.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Getting back on track now.
Yeah. Someone actually put together like a 2 hours of just footage of Loki on Vimeo.
Like
which
just
I'm
cut out
telling
Loki
you-
from every time he was on screen?
Yeah, and put him in like a
Nice.
which I will be watching.
You know, I bet they were up all night to get Loki footage for that.
It's the simplest ones that are the best, really.
I didn't get it.
Well, wait. Wasn't the group that sang that song for real from France, or am I making it up?
Oh, I don't know which song you're referring to.
I feel like if I sing it, Tom won't be able to post this video.
You're up all night to get Lucky.
Yeah.
Oh, Lucky. Oh, right. Yes, they are. Daft Punk.
Right? Daft Punk.
That was actually pretty funny. I retroactively laugh at your joke. Tom.
I retroactively
Merci.
applaud your laughing at the joke.
Thank you very much. All right. I am posted on the blog. I am out of the post on the blog manager. And we are
Can I
good.
put
Thank
my
you
show-
again, Patrick Beja.
Yay!
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, chat room. I would also like to thank my parents, without whom this would not have been possible, my wonderful wife, Sonia, who has always supported me, and the Academy for all of this.
I'm going to play you off. All right. Bye, video.
Bye, video.